Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails. Guys, today we're going to talk about another faction. It's the Rebels. It's the core Rebel group, and so we're only actually going to be talking about 5 characters. Going to talk about their modding, 3v3 stuff is toward the end. That's all going to be time-stamped, or at least some of it. There are a couple really important topics here, though, guys. So as of this recording, which is April of 2021, this is the one best way to run a Commander Luke team in 5v5 and 3v3, and that's the intention here. If it changes, I'll eventually get around to making a video about that. But as of right now, this is the platonic ideal of the Commander Luke team, and it kills a lot of stuff. It kills so much stuff. I actually made this video last night as well, and I took a long time talking, and then I realized I hadn't even talked about what it can kill. We can't really get into that here. It kills Padme. It kills other Commander Luke teams. It basically kills every single team other than a couple of the Galactic Legends, and even some of those Galactic Legends you can get some pretty good damage on. This is really like one of the workhorse squads in the game. It is amazing, and there's a lot of versatility to it too, guys, that a lot of people don't know. First, I want to address R2-D2's not in the squad because he's great, and he'd be the only other one I would consider for it. And sometimes he does fit in here for feats and other things, but R2 has a great home and with resistance, and right now this squad is tuned like perfectly for what you want to be doing, and R2 doesn't quite fit that perfect mold. So we're gonna, anyways, we've got R2 elsewhere. Anyways, we've got these 5 guys. So what other topics does Zareth want to talk about? If we're not going to talk about garbage, like I said, we're going to talk about 3v3s. That's toward the end. It's going to have a timestamp and everything. I also want to talk about who gets guard in this and why does that matter. I know that the default is that Luke gets guard, and it's fun when he gets guard, for sure, 100%. But there's an argument for Chupio to get it, and I'll show you guys how you can actually just choose which one you want to have guard while you're in Grand Arena. Like, even though you have lock, you actually have a little bit of say in who gets guard. So we've got that coming. I also want to mention, before I forget, guys, Han, you want him to be fast. He is, it's important that he's fast. I know that people want to put offense on him. He's gaining lots of turn meters, so he's really fast already. There are reasons, though, so we're going to go through modding, and yeah, it's going to be a good time, guys. So first, let's talk about guard, shall we? I feel like this is something that a lot of people have missed. I've actually just recently got on the train. I've thought this for a long time. I haven't really taken the time to remod for it, but it's important, guys. Guard does some really cool stuff. So Chewie is the one who hands guard. Chewie is Chewbacca, for those of you who don't know, and Chupio is going to be the one with the 3PO. So Chewie is the one who hands out guard, and what guard does here, so it gives it to Han automatically, and then the character who has the highest, who has the lowest combined health and protection is going to end up with guard. So Chewie can't have it. Han already gets it. The candidates in this particular instance are going to be 3PO, CLS, and Chupio. We don't want 3PO to have it because it would be completely worthless on him. But what guard does is it disallows people from being critically hit, so lots less damage. And then they're also immune to daze and stun. And then it gives them crit chance, which is fine. That's mostly for Han, though, to make sure he always crits no matter what. But what this does, though, this is huge, because if you have a character who assists every single time he shoots, then you don't want him to get dazed or stunned, because suddenly those assists stop happening, especially when those assists also do cool things like cause expose on your opponent and do debuffs and all these cool things. So putting it on Chupio is actually pretty neat. Commander Luke is kind of the default, and it's pretty hard to get guard onto him just because he has a lower base health and protection than Chupio. But so Commander Luke is nice here. Let's actually just jump into this battle here, guys, and I'll show you what I mean. for I think this is, I've lined it up so Commander Luke, yeah, so he's got guard right now. It's this little buff above. And okay, so we're gonna just shoot. This is, I mean, a really weak galactic challenge, but here's the thing that I like about having guard on Commander Luke. You can start with a ton of damage right off the bat. So the other thing about guard is Chewie always assists whoever has guard. So you change stances and Chewie assists, and so does Chupio, and then immediately you gain 100% turn meter and you can hit again, and those two hit again. So you get 5 hits in the first time Commander Luke takes a turn, which is pretty nice. And that is pretty nice. So you can see Commander Luke does have guard in this instance, and I think that there's some circumstances though that you really want Chupio to have guard. Like actually most of them almost. Like he's not going to take as many turns as Luke, so you're not going to get as many assists from Chewie. I think really though, like some of these characters you really want to make sure they have guard, or you really want to make sure Chupio has guard, because Commander Luke can cleanse debuffs on himself anyways. He's the only character in this composition who can. So you might be wondering, like, okay, so Zareth, you said that Luke has guard. Chupio can't have guard in that same GAC lock, right? Like you're locked in with your stats, and that sounds accurate, but it's not. It's false. So check out the Commander Luke stats here. Okay, so he's at 56 and 56k, like 112k-ish. Like actually pretty close to 113. So then you look at Chupio, and Chupio has, let's see. So he's got slightly less than Luke right now in terms of guard. So in terms of health and protection, if you do the math, it's like 100 less or something like that. Like it's very close. You don't have to get it this close, but here's how it works, guys. So Chupio has a thing where, so you may wonder, okay, so if Luke has more health and protection, why does he get guard? And what happens is, it's all a matter of like math, of order of operations. So check out this I must tell the others. 3PO and Chewie, he has stat sharing basically. So they gain 40% if the leader is a rebel, which Commander Luke is. If they're the lead, they gain 40% of the leader's max health, max protection, and all these other stats, which the other stats are also important, especially for 3v3, but the health and protection is huge. So he gains 40% of what Luke has, and then he gives all rebel allies, including Luke, 20% of those stats. Basically, I mean, like, so he gives them half. So he gains 40%, everyone else gains 20%, and it's cool. So what happens is Chupio actually gains 40% of the leader's health and protection here, and that boosts him to have a higher health and protection. Now, the reason I mentioned the order of operations, though, is it's all about when you calculate when guard goes on someone and when those stats are kind of spread. So check this out, guys. So we have Luke with the 2 Chewies here, and then we have the same team here, and they look very similar. One dark Wookiee, one slightly less dark Wookiee. And the only difference is whose thing is applied first. Is it going to be the stat sharing from Chupio, or is it going to be guard being applied first from Chewie? So if it's guard being applied first here, then we have Chewie going first. So he's in the second slot. He's going to apply guard before Chupio does his thing with stat sharing. So I just showed you an instance where Luke was guarded. Now, without changing mods at all, you guys watch this whole thing. It's just been live. You can test it yourself in case you think I'm pulling shenanigans. But you jump in here. Chewie applies guard to the lowest health and protection, and boom, it's on Chupio now, because Luke has slightly higher health and protection, and then the stat sharing after the guard is applied happens with Chupio. So here, let's just try it one more time. So we had the Chewie apply guard first here. Now we're going to have Chupio apply his stat sharing first. So Chupio in this slot, Chewie in the third. And here we go. Commander Luke has it. So even in GAC lock, guys, it's very possible to pick and choose. And let me show you an instance, guys, where it really does matter quite a bit, actually. So I'm gonna give you a caveat. The photo I'm gonna show you guys here is actually it doesn't have, they didn't quite do the right thing, but I'm gonna explain kind of how it went. So and it's only a photo. It's not a video, unfortunately. But okay, so check out this video or this photo. I'm like, it's not a video. Check out this video. No, that's so stupid. Anyway, so we've got this team. It's a Supreme Leader Kylo lead team, and because there's no Hux here, well, there's no full First Order plus Hux here. You can totally just counter this with Commander Luke because you can gain turn meter. The whole team is based around turn meter gain, and so as long as like, you're gonna keep taking turns. So what ends up happening, guys, is, and these are only screenshots, remember, you shoot Daka, she dies, and then Zombie dies, kills herself to revive Daka. Then you kill Daka a second time, which is very possible here. There's no taunts here other than Zombie. So you kill Daka a second time, Zombie sacrifices herself a second time, and then you have 4 kills. And what that sets up is the Zeta on Chupio, being a, like, his thing is you hit everyone as many times as there's been characters killed, and so he hits everyone 5 times. And what ends up happening here is, if I can actually find it, here we go. He removes the entire team with his shot. He did not throw away his shot. He didn't kill Malak. You kill Malak eventually, but you just killed the whole team. And it's very cool to see. I've only seen a couple videos of this, but I've done it myself a few times. Here's the thing, though. This was pretty lucky. This is an instance where it was like, okay, like, you faded. You got a little lucky, because notice permanently buffed Chewie here. There's no taunt on this Commander Luke team. If Supreme Leader Kylo had decided to put his perma stun on Chupio, this Commander Luke team would be sunk. You would just be screwed. Additionally, if old Daka, because all these people are dying, if she just gets a random lucky stun on Chupio, it's likewise over. There's no way to dispel it. He has to take his shot basically right after everyone else takes their turns and kills Daka. Like, you don't have much time against a team like this. Like, you either kill them all immediately or you lose. And so in this case, having guard on Chupio would be super nice, because Supreme Leader Kylo doesn't always just target Chewie. Now, you could maybe get out of the stun from Daka if you have a high enough tenacity, but she has really high potency usually. Like, that's not going to be a guarantee. So if you put guard, and I realize guard is on CLS here, so like I said, not a perfect example, but if you did put guard on Chupio, then Supreme Leader Kylo's like, you know what, I'm gonna stun me a Chupio. You could just say no, you're actually not, and you also didn't crit me, and so now Chupio's gonna kill everyone. And that's an instance of where this is really useful. Other instances being like when you're fighting against like General Skywalker and you want to make sure that your assists keep up and you're not getting all these crits. Like, granted, Commander Luke is squishier at that point, but your Chupio is at least going to keep assisting until he dies, because he's not getting stunned and he's not getting dazed by General Skywalker's shenanigans. So you can pick and choose. Like, a lot of times Commander Luke takes so many turns that having him with guard and having Chewie just constantly assisting him is a better move. Sometimes it is, and you're gonna have to just watch my videos and determine for yourself which is the best choice. But in this case, it's nice. You can have your cake and you can eat it too, if you like cake. I'm not trying to force cake on anyone. So let's go over the modding here, guys. We've already been doing it 15 minutes. I'm really hoping to get out of here quickly. We're going to go over modding as I see it, as best I see it for 5v5. Then I'm going to show you team comps in 3v3 and how to mod for 3v3 and get you out of here. So first off, let's let's just go with Commander Luke here, and then Chupio, because those are the two who kind of interlock in terms of guard and who gets guard, who wants guard, etc. So Luke is really desperate to get lots of hit points. You'll note that he's Relic 6 here because at one point I was really trying to get his stats higher. That's why Chupio isn't at 7, because it's a lot harder to get. So you're going to get more overall boost out of getting percent protection, I believe. That's the way I finally made it work. So you need that circle to be protection. That is absolutely vital. You're going to need to either choose your cross or your triangle to be protection as well as the primary. The other one wants to be offense. And the reason you want offense everywhere else, you want the offense set, is because you still want a decently high offense number, because you take this offense number and Chupio grabs it, keeps 40%, hands out 20% to everyone else, and it's real nice. It's a really nice stat to have. Like crit damage, he doesn't share crit damage. He only shares offense. So this is a really big deal. He also hands out potency and tenacity, and those are more important in 3v3. We'll go over that in a little bit, but in this case, I also put health mods. If you could get away with it, putting potency on Commander Luke is real nice. It's really nice. Or some tenacity. Tenacity or potency set, either one. Very, very nice. You're going to need, you want to have one of the cross and the triangle to be protection, however, and the other one to be offense. So no cross with tenacity or potency unless you can mess with the stats and make it work. Like, do your magic, but it was very difficult to get to this point. And then a speed arrow. You'll note that my Commander Luke is actually pretty dang fast, and he's well modded, but you do want him to be fast if you can. The primary thing with him, though, is getting those offense and then the health and protection stats that you want. Very, very specific modding for Commander Luke. As far as Zetas go, guys, especially if you're taking guard off of him, you want IBAT. That's one of the first Zetas you should have in the game, period. Just amazing. All the different turn meter stuff, all the different stuff. Amazing Zeta. Rebel maneuvers, equally as important for this team. It's all about the turn meter gain. You get 1 million turns in a row. If you do this, people used to laugh at me for having it. Amazing Zeta, however. All that turn meter distribution, vital to this team. You can't have the team without it. Learn control is the one that people say is the most, or is the least amazing, because you have when you're, half the time you have the crit avoid and tenacity. So I get it. Those don't seem like very good. Like the extra tenacity, though, man, this whole team, you want to make it so you can't get debuffed. So you have guard floating around. 3PO can get debuffed, but he's usually stealthed. Commander Luke can dispel his debuffs, but sometimes he gets ability blocked. You want that extra tenacity. Plus, when you're in that stance, guys, you're also, every time someone gets hit on his team, he gains, 10% turn meter, something like that. Like, every time someone on his team gets hurt, he gains turn meter. And, gains 10% turn meter whenever another rebel ally takes damage. So, just hang out in this stance. Like, in my videos, you'll see me do various things. I switch stances sometimes. But staying in the original stance is actually not bad. He hits less hard, but that doesn't matter as much. So all 3 Zetas are recommended for him. Chupio, I think I have his 3v3 mods on him, but you want offense once again. And then you want some tenacity on him if you can, in 3v3 especially. So I have the tenacity cross. I think better would actually be just an offense cross in this particular stance in 5v5. But you could totally do it. Tenacity is nice. I put crit avoid on top here. That's for 3v3 as well. I would probably put either offense or speed on him at this point. Potency would also not be a bad choice. So all of those different stats. Main thing is offense, so he's doing a lot of damage. I do, on second thought, I do really like having him with a bunch of potency, just because a lot of his things are actually pretty important. But he's assisting every time a rebel goes, so that's important. And I love his Zeta, guys. I know people think it's irrelevant, but in some circumstances, man, it just owns the other team. Like against Night Sisters, it just shuts them down. It's just game over. It's super nice. So his Zeta, not just a PvE Zeta, it's also PvP. 100%, guys. So let's say that Commander Luke has his Zeta, so he's got 150% tenacity base. Chupio has guard, so can't get stunned or dazed. Then we have Chewbacca here, who is the one, if he's removed, then guard goes away. So what do you want? You want him to be super resilient. And so that's what you're doing. You put a lot of tenacity on him specifically because you don't want him to you don't want him to get dazed. And you don't want him to get stunned. He's a workhorse as well. Every time Han goes, he goes. Every time the other guy who's guarded goes, he goes. Like, extremely important that he doesn't get dazed or stunned. So give him a ton of tenacity. Speed is okay on him. I actually would like maybe to put like an offense arrow. I think maybe I just don't have a good offense arrow. Oh gosh, I'm lying. I lie like a rug. Here, I have a tenacity set offense arrow with decent speed. Maybe I'll end up doing that. I don't know. I'll have to look at it. Here's the thing, though. It's nice for him to have offense, and he does. I do put crit damage on his triangle here. Everything else is tenacity. Lots of tenacity secondaries. But look at, like, as close as you can get him to 160 is great. So look at what Chewie does, though. So he shoots, he does all these assists. Half of his damage, though, guys, a really important amount of his damage is based off of max health damage. He does, every time he hits someone, he deals an additional amount of damage that's equal to 20% of their max health. So if they have 100k health, he does his normal hit and he does 20k damage on the side. And if he's assisting a lot, if he does his AoE, that's 20% max health on everyone he hits. I would recommend both Zetas. If you're going to not put one on, I guess it would be, I think it's the Raging Wookiee one. Loyal Friend, absolutely good, like amazing in fact. You can regenerate, it's really good for guard, or for healing the people with guard to get max banners. Really, really solid. Absolutely want the Loyal Friend. Raging Wookiee, maybe the smallest, it's the second worst Zeta on the team. All of the Zetas are pretty good except for 3PO. You want to ignore the one where he starts with an extra stack of translation. Is this the one? It's the one with R2-D2. Yeah, this one. This one is worthless because R2-D2 is not on the squad. 3PO having a stack of translation is fine, I guess, but it's not amazing. Let's see, where is it? So he starts with 30% max health. Woo, yay! I guess that's cool, but doesn't matter. He gets stealthed at the start, anyways. Doesn't matter. He gets potency up early on from the oh my goodness one. This is the second Zeta. I do really like this Zeta. People don't like it as much, but it gives 2 stacks of confused to people right off the bat. And that is super nice, actually, because it's immediately you can target someone and shut them down. So it makes it so they can't counter anymore, assist, gain bonus turn meter, etc., and they can't gain buffs. So it's pretty good. It's maybe one of the least vital ones, but I think it's good. Otherwise, to give him speed, give him potency, because if his potency up gets dispelled, which sometimes it happens if you're facing like Night Sisters, you can just get mass dispelled by someone. You want to be able to stick that potency or those debuffs on people anyways. So, yeah, high potency, high-ish potency. Maybe not, you don't maybe need it as high as this, but otherwise speed, decent speed. It doesn't have to be super fast. And just remember, he has plus 20 speed in his kit, just built into his kit. Where the heck is that? I don't know why I'm spending. Yeah, C3PO is plus 20 speed. So, one Zeta is decent. The oh my goodness, the other one, wait for me, is the only worthless one in the whole lot. You want all of them eventually. Finally, Han Solo, guys. You want him fast. Why do you want him fast? Because they changed the rules. It used to be, okay, he takes a bonus turn at the start. That's great. He still does that. But now they made it so that the turn meter rules are different, and who takes for turns first is different. It used to be your Han goes into a fight with another Han. One Han has no mods and 0 extra speed. The other one has the fastest Han in the whole game, and the one it's 50-50 still. That's how it used to be. It used to be that it was just luck of the draw, 50-50. Now that we have a tiebreaker. Whoever's Han is faster in the mirror match goes first. So you want to have him go first. You want to shoot Chewie first and stun him so that he can't assist, because that's where all of the madness comes from, is Chewie. And then you win. Like, it's a very high percentage counter, like 57-ish banners. I've done it a couple times. Really nice. So, guys, fast Han. I know that it feels nice. It feels so nice to have an offense arrow on him and not have to worry about speed. My Han is maybe egregiously fast. Maybe we don't need this high of speed. But, I don't know. I'll probably make him slower. But, this is kind of nice. It's kind of nice to have him fast. This Han will generally beat anyone. I would say somewhere in like the high 270s is where you should aim. At least as of right now, that's what I would do. Yeah, that's what I would do. So otherwise, some potency is nice. Chupio's going to be handing you some potency. Some crit chance. You don't really need crit chance. He has 105. Well, I guess he has like 100, or he has like 92 base, something like that. Is that right? Yeah. So, but here's the thing, guys. In his kit, he has a built-in 20%, and then when he gets guarded by Chewie, he also gains another 25%. So, unless you're facing like Grievous or something, like there's a few, or Jolie. Is it Grievous? Yeah. Some of them have really high crit avoid, and then he's not going to crit as much, but consistently critting is really important for him. He does his best damage when he's critting. Really good. Plus, you want 6 E mods on him if possible, just to keep his Falcon fast and hitting hard. And that's basically it. I do want to point out one other piece of all of this, though, guys. So a lot of people want a ton of offense on their rebels, and I think the platonic ideal, the very best option of this team, would involve a huge, like, gaudy, ridiculous amount of offense everywhere. But then you also want speed. You want all the other stats. Like, you'd have to have like God plus mods to be able to accomplish that. Like, I only know a couple people who can do that. So, here's the thing. What people don't realize is a huge amount of the damage that we get from this squad is because of exposed damage. Exposed damage is 20% max health damage. So, and that comes from 3PO here. What happens is you use a basic. So let's say the Commander Luke just goes in, he hits someone, and then Chewie assists because Luke has guard, and then so Commander Luke goes, he does a basic, and he inflicts expose, and then Chewie assists, hits that expose and does that extra damage, sets up another expose damage, and then Chupio also assists, he hits that expose, does the 20% health damage, and then puts another expose on him. If we're doing it with Han, it's even more, because Han will go, and then Chewie will go, and then Han will go, and then Chupio will go, and they'll all do an expose damage because of 3PO. And now I realize not everyone can be damaged by expose as much, but by and large, that's a huge way of damaging people with this squad. I think people don't really realize that, like, brute force is nice, but a lot of it's just mechanics. A lot of it's just whatever advantage you can get. So let's look at 3v3, guys. Slightly different modding. Of course, we're going to have to split the team up a little bit. So CLS, Chupio, and 3PO is the team you want on 3v3, on offense or defense. And the biggest counter right now is the Jedi Training Rey team, who rely on a lot of crits to be able to do extra damage, and they rely on to be able to put exposes on people, and they rely on getting a lot of debuffs. So what you do, you want to put a ton of tenacity on Commander Luke, and that way and you want tenacity on Chupio, and then you want crit avoid on both. So then the Jedi Training Raid team is going to struggle to crit, and especially because Luke is going to be at like 85% crit avoid. So it's going to be really hard for them to crit him as long as he stays in the right stance, and therefore they can't get exposed damage. Chupio is going to steal tenacity from Luke, and so if you put 100 tenacity on Luke, something like that, and then Chupio steals 40%, he gains 40%, puts himself up to like 160%, and in 3v3 it's just a very difficult thing to land any debuffs. Jedi Training Rey has a very low starting potency, and if they haven't modded for her for potency, she's going to struggle. So that's the way you want to mod that team. And that's the best composition right now by a mile. It's an amazing one. It doesn't look obviously good, but in 3v3 it is just super efficient. That way it leaves Chewie and Han to fend for themselves. They can have a number of leaders. You can see all of them are pretty good. Now Wedge is my favorite right now. My buddy Solo Base 15 is the one who came up with this. I wish my buddy was Han Solo, but Solo Base 15 started saying this. The turn meter is so good here, guys. It does 10% doesn't seem like much, but when you crit, Han starts by shooting with a bonus shot. So he shoots and he crits, he gains 10%. Then Chewie assists because he has guard, and he crits and he gains 10%. And then Han shoots a second time, he crits and gets 10%. If he already has a lot of really high health, or a lot of really high speed mods, he's gonna go next as well, because that's just a bonus turn, and then you base everything off of, or all the turn meter off of whose speed is faster. So Han is going to get a 20% boost right off the bat. Chewie gets a 10%. Wedge is kind of a liability, but he also gives them a damage boost. Really good, really cheap squad. Shout out to my friend Kate Gaming, who likes to use Greedo. Not as good as Wedge in my opinion, but they do more damage. So if you just need to do a ton of damage right off the bat, Scoundrel allies, so that's Han and Chewie, gain 50% crit damage. And that's it. That's all you gain from Greedo. And that's where it stops. But Han hits like he used to hit like a truck. Now he hits like a damn truck. So finally, we have Beskar here as the lead. If you want to put IG and Queel with Rey in 3v3, which is actually a pretty good option, then you have Mando just kicking around. You have Beskar. What he does, he gives everyone a little bit of extra stats. That's fine. Not really that great in 3v3. But then the big thing here for them is every time an enemy takes damage, Scoundrel allies gain 2% turn meter. So what happens is Han shoots, and that causes some damage. Then Chewie assists, and that causes 2 different instances of damage because he does the health percent damage and the physical damage. Then Han shoots again. So those 2 together, right off the bat, everyone's gaining 8% turn meter across the board. And then, of course, you go by speed, and Han probably goes next. And he does like his big hit. Chewie shoots again. That's another 6%. And then Han gains all the turn meter because he has all the crit chance. And therefore he goes again. He's going to shoot twice. Chewie's going to assist. And everyone else is going to gain another 8% just right off the bat. Then Chewie is going to go eventually. He'll do an AoE. He'll hit everyone. Everyone will gain 12% from him. That 2% sounds like not much, but it really, really does add up. Beskar, eventually he gets his Whistling Birds. Everyone, it does a ton of different hits, and everyone gains 2% based off of how many Whistling Birds he does. It's pretty good. So, anyways, guys, gosh, I remade this video. It's exactly 1 minute shorter than the last one. I do think I explained things better though, so I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna try to get some infographics up. Gotta get Photoshop though, and it's a huge plunge. Might have to wait till May to do that. We'll see how things are. But anyways, guys, let me know in the comments what you think. Is guard important? What kind of outlandish feats have you been able to accomplish with this team? It's just a workhorse team, really great. And okay, with that, folks, I am done. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Zareth prevails.